Hey, I'm interviewing Vince of Geek Out SA. Up next on Geek Out SA. Gotta say, it's Friday and the usurper has finally taken the throne.
You usurper!
So tonight we have a special guest that I'm going to interview. It's Vince of Geek Out SA, and I'm going to interview him. That's right, I'm in the big girl chair. That's right, see me? With all the fancy stuff behind me? I've taken over. Do you like it when I take over? Very good, thank you. Oh, hi Vince. Vince is here. How you doing, Vince?
Well, thanks for having me, Colleen.
You're
How are
so
you
welcome.
doing?
I'm doing well. So we thought we would do this little episode so that people kind of get to know you a little bit better. And we have been getting a lot of requests for me to get to be in the big girl chair. So I'm in the big girl chair.
And now you got your chance. So.
And I get my chance. And I gotta admit, I'm really nervous. Like, I'm more nervous over here than I am over there. Over there, it's fine. I'm relaxed. That's my spot.
This is kind of cool. I don't get to do this often, so it's kind of different.
You don't get to be the interviewee. You have to guide the show and run the things, and I'm not sure if I can do all the segues the way Vincent does. Vincent's pretty good at the segues. He's the segue man. So we're gonna see how this turns out.
Takes years of practice.
Years of practice.
Yeah.
Well,
6 years.
We're gonna talk about your years of practice, but I want to go all the way back because you're really old, and this started a really long time ago.
Yeah.
So it all started actually with you writing tabletop games.
Yeah. I started writing tabletop games. Well, even before we decided to call it Pincha Games.
Well, you were writing tabletop games really before you and I even got married.
Yeah.
So Vincent and I have been married for 20 years. I don't know if those of you that are watching this show, some of you know us personally, some of you don't. Mm-hmm. So Vincent and I have been married for 20 years. And Vincent, you were like probably 17, 18 when you and Richard first started writing that very first game.
Yeah.
Long
Probably
ago.
like 16, 17.
Kitchen Time says hi, by the way.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Kitchen
Hi,
Time.
Lennon. How's it going?
So tell me about that process where you guys started, because you were very young and you had started playing tabletop games.
We were playing role-playing games,
right?
Back in the day. So we actually were playing. Originally, we were playing this game called Macho Women with Guns.
Macho Women with Guns. That was an RPG?
That was an RPG.
Okay.
And we kind of acquired some parts of that game system and created a game called IMF.
Right, which stood for?
Impossible Mission Force. So it's for Mission Impossible. But so we were playing all that. It was cool. We weren't selling anything. We were just like, oh, this is cool. We made it, and it's IMF.
Right,
it's
and
really
we have
awesome.
a bunch of the old stuff from way back then.
Yeah.
When you guys had the
old character sheets
and
and
your
stuff
friends
like that.
had drawn their own personal characters, and some of
we actually used to copy make copies on the old TRM machines. So they weren't the best copies, but they were copies.
But they were copies. And it's a very adult game. It's a James Bond-esque spy world. And y'all were young males. Mm-hmm. So you took it to a very adult place a lot of the time.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of disgusting stuff, too.
Yeah, super gross. Yeah. So
we were teenage boys, so it was...
So you're teenage boys, but so you've been playing it all this time, and then fast forward, so you're about 18, fast forward to when you're about 26, and you and I get married.
Right.
And we've been playing now for a little while all together as well.
But we weren't playing that. I don't think I ran that.
Yeah, y'all ran
until
IMF
Richard...
with Gorgo and all
until Richard came...
to hang out with us. So Richard is
because
friend.
Richard was my friend. He's actually one of the other creators of our actual RPG that we have a book out.
Right, because Richard's more of the storyteller, writer part. You're more of the mechanics, the weapons. You're very much kind of the weapons guy. Did you invent the weapon for your?
No, it was kind of there. It was kind of like a collaboration of what we put in there, and then we just kind of like fleshed it out a little bit.
Because your character, so Vincent has a character that's an NPC, which is a non-player character, and his name is Blackbird.
Right.
So he's integral to the story. He has a special kind of weapon called.
Oh, the gyro-jets.
Yes. So did you invent those, or were those modeled after something?
No, those were modeled after, what was that Gene Simmons movie with Tom Selleck with the spiders?
Oh, you've shown me that movie before. Okay.
Runaway.
Yeah.
Runaway.
Yeah.
Because like those little things would like run away and stuff like that. But yeah, he had Gene Simmons had a gyrojet pistol that was like the coolest thing ever.
Oh, okay. So you see, I learned something new. I didn't realize. I thought y'all had kind of invented that. So that's interesting. So you're taking things from like movies and stuff, which we did a lot when we were kids and we played role-playing games. You're taking things from movies and stuff and kind of integrating it in.
Oh yeah. Definitely. That's how we played got a ton of our ideas for different campaigns is through watching movies or books or
I can't tell
like
you how
that.
many times I've run through like an Indiana Jones-esque type campaign,
Yeah.
the stuff is on the floor and you've got to step on the right bricks or you fall through the hole and stuff. Yeah. So been there, done that. So then when did you decide to start your gaming company?
Oh gosh, probably 2 years out when was I 28?
Yeah, probably about that.
I think about 28. And I remember we were all sitting in the dining room, or no, in the living room, and they were thinking, "Oh, what should we call it? What should we call it?" And I had this idea. You know what? Let's call it Pinchy Games, because like whenever I was playing games when I was little, my mom would say, "Oh, get off your Pinchy Games." But she really didn't, but I like to poke fun. My mom always told me, don't tell people I say that.
Don't say that. Yeah, his mom would never say that, but he likes to tell that story.
I like to tell that story. So I told that story on Fox, didn't I?
Yeah. And at first we were all nervous about the name, because if you don't speak Spanish, that word does not mean something nice. It's a bad word.
Well, it is and it isn't.
It's a bad word, people. So what made you, because you stood your ground on that, because a lot of people over the years have tried to tell you, change the name of your game company, change the name of your game company. You're not going to get anywhere with the name of that game company. So what made you stand your ground on that?
I don't know. Tons and tons of people were telling me, no, change it, where there was like 10 times more telling me, don't ever change it. It's the greatest thing ever. I love it. So I was like, okay, I'll keep it.
Well, and it's an adult name, and the role-playing games that we've put out are adult in nature. You put out another game, which is a tabletop game, which is a card-based game. So
right.
Tell everybody a little bit about that game.
So Colleen and I worked on a card game, and it was my joke on technology. So it's called Apt, and it's a game about installing apps into your brain. So it's a joke about technology as a card game.
Right. So that's to make it funny, right? To make it funny.
To make it funny.
And then, so we collaborate on that. So again, Vince is the mechanics guy. He, he comes up with the mechanics, decides how many of each card we need to do and things like that. He does the graphics and stuff like that. And then I did like the verbiage for the apps to make the apps kind of cutesy and funny and give you something to kind of look at and read on the cards as you play.
And then we bounce stuff off each other all the time, which is really good. Because it's difficult to find that many apps that aren't actually apps.
So DJEM and NNA blogs say hi also. Thank you guys so much
thanks
for watching.
Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.
You'll learn a lot about Vince tonight.
Adam and David, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks. So you're making these games, and then you you need somewhere to like show them off and play them. So that kind of becomes the next step in your adventure, right?
That does become the next step. So Richard ended up telling me about, hey, did you know about this gaming convention, tabletop gaming convention called ChimeraCon? I was like, no, I've never heard of it. And it was really late in the game. It was like maybe the week of.
Mm-hmm.
So we put it in, and I talked to April back in the day, and it was through email. I was like, is there any way we can get in to show off our game, because we'd really enjoy that. And she's like, sure, no problem. Let's go ahead and do that. And she set it up for me, and that was the first year we were there, and then we presented our game there, and we bound these like comb binding. It was like DIY type stuff. We had a book. We did have a book.
We did have a book.
But
my dad did the art for it. This is long before my dad passed away. And we even had some of his artwork that wasn't even quite finished. But
Yeah.
we just put it in there because it looked like kind of rough or whatever. It was there, but not quite there. So we're there like right before, like comb binding it and trying to get it put together.
and it was really cool because like people bought it.
Yeah. We had to go and like get the front cover. We did the front cover in color.
Yeah.
And then the rest in black and white. I remember that. And then I don't remember, did you have any giveaways or like cards?
Well, we had their character sheets. It had the front cover on it, and then it was like a half sheet folded over.
That's right.
And they had the character sheet, and then kind of like a description of the mechanics in
That's
there.
right, a little blurb so that they could take it home after they played. That's right, I remember that. And then
it was a really cool idea.
It was a cool idea.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that. And then we even made like we didn't call it the light version. What was the version that we made that was like all
smooth? The smooth version.
Yeah, the smooth version.
The smooth version.
Hey, you're
yeah.
being interviewed. You're not supposed to be checking. Stuart's got it taken care of. We got to try to get Vince off his technology.
It's hard. It's hard for me. Okay, I'm off.
Yeah, you're okay. That's right. It was called the Smooth
It was smooth edition.
So it was a little bit lighter on the rules, and it
Yeah.
had pre-gen characters, and it was like a quick pick-me-up game that you could start. And
Yeah, because that was really cool with the pre-gen, because it really helps. And then we came out with the rough version, still with your dad's artwork, and it was like right after that your dad passed away.
Yeah, and he didn't
and
get to finish.
he didn't get to finish that. Yeah.
And so then we commissioned. So from doing ChimeraCon and stuff, we've made a lot of connections and stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, throughout, because this was even before I decided to make the book, I started, I think I was at ChimeraCon for like 2 years in a row. The second year, I think the Beastmaster was there.
Oh yeah, and he was, fun like all celebrities are.
And at that point, I was like, this convention needs some help.
It did. Bless his
And
heart.
and Stuart was a part of it
It's all Stuart's fault.
too.
Stuart's our producer, if you don't know, if you haven't watched before. So he's been a friend of ours.
He was there.
He has been a friend of ours.
I
for a
remember
very
him
long time.
selling like drinks and snacks there. You brought in the drinks and snacks there, didn't you?
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
thing that ever make that convention money.
Oh,
When's-
Nolan Create says hi. By the way.
Oh, hey, how's it going, Patrick?
Yeah, so we're going to the con, and really the point of going to the cons is to get your games out there, right?
Right.
So then Vince decides, speaking of being a usurper,
They needed direction.
is that what you want to call it? Okay.
Did they not need direction?
We needed everything.
Yeah.
There was no direction.
No, I don't think there was direction.
I think that has more to do with the San Antonio gaming environment than anything.
It's hard. It's very
Yeah.
hard in San Antonio. If you haven't ever been part of the San Antonio tabletop gaming industry, it's difficult. It's very fragmented. San Antonio in and of itself has this
Very
social
disjointed.
fragmentation as it is. People kind of tend to stay on their sides of town, but the gaming is even worse. This is my area, this is my zone, this is my store that I'm loyal to, this is my game that I'm loyal to. I'm not going to try anything. I'm not going to branch out. I'm not going to go anywhere else. And if you're supporting somebody else, I'm not supporting you. In fact, I'm mad at you and I hate you, kind of thing. So Vincent had altruistic ideas that he was going to make this better, right?
Well, I wanted something that so I could show my game off. I mean, that was the big thing. I wanted my games out there, and I wanted like a good venue to be able to say, hey, look, check out my game, and have people come and play it, because that's like the coolest thing when somebody plays your game and they like it.
And then you realize that there were other developers here in San Antonio like us that kind of needed the same advantage, basically. You need to start here. And we traveled around Texas.
Yeah.
And went to cons and cons and cons to try to show off our game. And so then you become involved with ChimeraCon, and then you begin to take it over.
Right.
And so how does that progress?
It actually progresses pretty well. I mean, I think ChimeraCon was losing money for the longest time until I came in, and then we actually started to turn a profit. The first year, just because I think we weren't spending the money that we were before, and the money that we were spending it wisely.
Yeah. Well, and we all hit the pavement a lot. Like, we got to say thanks to the Griegos.
Yeah.
Like Daniel and
Yeah,
Al.
definitely. Big help.
Mike Walton back then. And April, like, everybody hit the pavement, and we were at game stores, and we were handing out flyers, and we were talking to people. We were at half price books. I mean, we were everywhere.
April was like a godsend when we had to like lay stuff out or like calculate stuff, and she's great with numbers.
Yeah.
And that's her skill. That's her thing.
And Al was always like talking to people and getting us games and stuff so that we could do silent auction.
Doing that and getting us vendors and stuff like that.
Vendors.
So he was a great help in doing that. So we really appreciate that help.
Yeah. So, but then you kind of decided not to do ChimeraCon anymore.
Yeah, because we were doing well, and we were at a point where we could have exploded, but I don't think San Antonio was able to support that.
Well, and we kind of thought that the name had a certain negative connotation, right? Some people hadn't had the best experience with before.
Yeah, that was a big thing that I had to. It was like every year I had to like apologize for years that I wasn't even a part of it or even went to ChimeraCon.
So then you decided to change the name.
Well, something happens before that.
Well, do tell.
So I talked to Apple from Alamo City Comic Con, and I talked to him.
You are going to tell, huh?
Oh yeah, I'm going to tell this story.
Okay, here we go. Hold on to your seats.
I take it to Alamo City Comic Con. I was like, look, I'm at a point where I could be bigger, but I can't back it. I don't have the money to back it, because if you're doing a con, you need money.
Lots of it.
You need lots of money, because if not, you're just going to lose money.
And at this point,
time.
we're raising 3 sons, and we've put in what we can. Yeah.
We put in a ton of money into that, and but it was supporting itself at that point. It was supporting itself. We're putting money, we're getting back what we put into it, but we just needed that step up. So I offered, I talked to Apple and said, do you want to do that, because I'm at a point where I can't do it anymore. I need that extra help.
And
so
we'll stay on staff, and we understand the tabletop gaming, and we'll help with that. You just need to do like some of the advertising and the stuff that we can't do, that we don't have the money to do.
Right. So he says, you know what, Vince? Yeah, I can do that. So no money exchanged. Nothing was purchased. Nothing was bought. As ChimeraCon, spelled as ChimeraCon as we had it. So he was going through saying that he got a venue and whatnot. Never got a venue. He kept putting Alamo. I understand he was putting Alamo City Comic Con first. That's great. That was his baby, so that's fine. But he kept telling me that he had a venue for it, and he didn't. And it came to the point where because we had a corporation with Chimera Gaming, and the board was like, if he's not going to do anything with it, we need to take it back.
Right.
So we took back our convention, and we decided, you know what? He bought a...
I was going to say, because he bought a bunch of stuff.
He bought some ChimeraCon, but spelled differently, URLs.
So that we couldn't have them.
So that we couldn't have them, and we even gave him access to our Facebook, and he changed the name on that without telling us. And that was real disappointing, and that was one of the reasons that we said, you know what, we're taking it back, and we'll do something with it, because you're obviously not. So when we did that, I took it back, and he was like, you know what, he's going to use ChimeraCon because he has it, and legally he can use it because it's not spelled the same way.
Right.
So we decided, you know what, this is a perfect time to change our name to actually show and mean what kind of gaming convention we are, and that's when we came up with Game Expo.
And it stood for Games and More.
Games and More
Games
Expo.
and More Expo. So it was
Games and More. It's Game Expo, yeah.
Games and More Expo. Yeah. We thought it was cute. We thought we were clever. Because we wanted to bring together...
That's one of my other like gifts. I can name things really well.
You're a good namer.
I'm a good namer.
Well, and you had always wanted it to be more than just the tabletop gaming. You wanted it to be cosplay and anime. You were trying to bring that fandom
Well, because
together.
there was like 3 heads of the Chimera, so I was like, well, we could like do this to where it's like cosplay and I don't know, gaming and video gaming or whatever we had in mind at that time.
And at that point, you've just started Geek Out SA, right?
Yes.
So you're trying to kind of bring the fandoms together.
So I'm
anyway.
still of the point. Here's the thing about Geek Out SA. It was a shameless plug for my games, and that's why I thought, you know what? Let me do Geek Out SA, and which was another cool name that I came up with.
Not to toot his own horn.
Not to toot my own horn, but
you know, he doesn't love himself or anything.
It was a way to promote my games. So I was like, yeah, let me do this. I can promote my games, and we always had a joke where every time I said Pincha Games or anything like that, I'd have to like take a drink of whatever I had. And then back then, I used to like drink alcohol on the show,
right,
which I don't anymore.
Right. Well, since you brought me on, because you had to kind of tone it down for my sake. But back then,
but I think it's better now because I'm not like drunk.
You were not drunk.
No, I wasn't drunk.
He can drink people under the table. So again, you've started another venture that's like a shameless plug for your tabletop games.
Yeah.
And for your tabletop gaming convention, that's another shameless plug for your tabletop games.
And then when I started it, Colleen thought, oh, this isn't going to last. No big deal. I'll let him deal with it. Right? Yeah. She thought it's going to last like...
I'm behind the scenes with a lot of stuff. So I thought if I don't be behind the scenes and I just
And you
don't
weren't
help,
on this
and
one
I
at
wasn't
all.
on this one at all. I was like, if I just don't help, he'll fizzle out. He'll be like, this is too much work. I don't want to do. So I didn't support him. But then McKenna supports him, and Kayla supports him, and little Jasmine supports him, and the community's supporting him, and I'm like...
Even Patrick from
No One Create.
From No One Create.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's there, and then,
Omar, and we had a ton of people on there, so it was a lot of fun.
You have the little panda on, and then you had the people from MizumiCon, like Pagonis, he was your producer for a while. I mean, you've had people run through this show. We even drug our sons through it at one point, which you were not a fan of, but I tried to get them to be part of our world, and they were not having it. They're very lazy. But I love them. No, Nick and Zach are pretty good.
Not the two younger ones.
Yeah.
It's just the oldest one.
Yeah, he's not a fan of doing things on a regular. So you've started this venture and you've got Game Expo. So now you're kind of running yourself ragged, right?
So yeah, I'm running myself ragged. The Geek Out SA isn't so bad at the time. We're just doing it from our houses, and we're using Google Hangouts to do it. So it wasn't like we weren't in a studio or anything, but I found out about Geekdom. I started going to Geekdom, and I started doing the show there in the conference rooms in there.
Yeah, so then the conference room is just like this black soundproof carpet padding stuff on the walls.
But this is going back a little before all the Game Expo stuff.
Was it? I thought it was about the same time, no?
It was a little
slightly before.
It was slightly before because we hadn't even had Apple on yet.
Oh, that's right. Well, so then you have to do, like, go to Geekdom, and we're, like, putting up fabric and trying to make it look like there's curtains and stuff in there, and, like...
Oh, but that's when we actually, because for the longest time it was in conference rooms, and then we're finally offered an actual studio, and it was the tiniest studio that you've ever seen, but it had, like, soundproofing tiles up on the wall, but it didn't look too great, but... We hung like fabric to like make it look like there was like curtains or
and
whatever.
We put up posters, right?
And we put up posters and stuff like
and
that.
And had some lights. We had to bring lights and put lights in the corner and stuff. Yeah, I remember that.
And then we have the little 720 webcams all over the place before we had 1080.
And that was when you used to wear a jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to wear a jacket.
Yeah, Vince used to always wear a jacket and then whatever his t-shirt was.
And we used to have the cruddiest audio ever. Because my laptop couldn't.
Right?
The what?
For the microphones, you made those stands out of
out of like
like a weight, right?
It was like it was like metal weights.
Yeah.
And then with magnets underneath.
I mean, it was DIY.
It was DIY. But it was the coolest thing ever. I was like, I made it. It's awesome.
And there were wires everywhere. Like, I'm surprised everybody didn't get tangled up and fall out of their chairs.
Or electrocuted or anything like that.
It was a hot mess. And then Geekdom kind of upgraded you to another studio that was like kind of white or something. It was like a lot of like whiteboards and like glass and stuff.
No, that was before we got the studio.
Oh, that was before.
That was before.
So you did that.
We were just moving from like conference room to conference room.
Oh, okay. And then did you go to Gray or Fox, or what was the name of that studio that you went to? With Roel?
Silver Fox. Silver Fox Studios.
So then you got to do that for a while.
So that was actually, when I got that studio, Silver Fox Studio was in that studio. When Silver Fox Studio left, that's when I talked to Geekdom. I was like, hey, you're not using that studio. Could I use it for my show? And they were like, yeah, here's the key. So I was like, okay. Thank you. And it was really cool. We were like behind glass, like we don't have like the glass behind here,
yeah, no.
But it was behind glass, and we had to like run wires through the wall. And
then sometimes random people would just walk into the room and be a guest.
That happened too, and it became very awkward that one time.
That was odd. I'd love to find that episode again and like show it for people to see. I don't even know if it's up anymore. Is it?
I think so.
Okay. So then you go to Silver Fox, and they have like a studio, like they know what they're doing. And
they have an awesome studio, and
they have the big
but we stopped doing it on YouTube at that time. We started doing it on live stream, and that was kind of like, I don't know if I should have done that, because live stream, it had a little bit of oomph behind it, but not enough, not as much as YouTube. But YouTube was gonna explode,
and we don't have any of those episodes, right?
some of them.
They were great.
Yeah,
some of
they
the
were
Game
really
of Thrones stuff that you did with like Omar and Vivian was super great. Like some of that stuff was great.
Yeah.
And you did interview Apple, and then you got to interview your favorite guy.
Oh,
You gonna go there
Nitro.
too? Oh, Nitro. No, that's not what I meant.
Which one? Which favorite guy?
I mean,
Oh,
you know, if you need some.
Jonathan Joss.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rub guy. Yeah, I did interview him. We got him when I was at Silver Sock Studio. That time he was a really good guy, and then he asked me, "Hey, you know Apple from Alamo City Comic Con? Can you get me in touch with them so I can be a guest over there?" Well, I passed it on to Apple, but they had him the year before. They were like, "No, we're good."
Yeah.
So a few months later, I asked him, "Hey, do you wanna be on the show again? We can talk about stuff." He told me, "No, I don't think I will, because nothing ever came of you talking to Apple for me. So I'm not going to lend you my celebrity to on your show again." I'm like,
Awesome.
"Sure, that's great, dude.
Thanks.
Go
for
sell your rub somewhere
all your
else."
celebrity. Now you sit in the corner at the public library. No. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. So yeah, we had some good times there, and then Silver Fox just kind of disappeared.
Silver Fox was sold. Silver Fox was sold to somebody else that didn't know how to run a studio.
Yeah.
So when we were doing that, they didn't know how to run the cameras, they didn't know how to run the audio, they didn't know how to market, they didn't have any money, and our views started going down. It came to the point where I told them, "Hey, we need to leave because you're not," and they were trying to charge me money.
Yeah.
So I was like, "I'm not making money. You're supposed to be promoting me to get
Money
me money for
us,
me."
yeah.
So
For all
yeah,
of us.
no.
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm your most widely viewed show, even with losing everything."
He has no self-confidence whatsoever. None.
No, I'm just telling the truth. I'm just telling the truth.
So at that point, that's when you decide to come do it here at the house. We paint the wall so that we have the green screen. And around that time is when you invite me to come be on the show with you, right?
Right.
And it just
So-
kind of
It just kind of went from there, yeah.
went from there. And we've been places and gone to cons and interviewed people and been to events. We're gonna go to an event tomorrow. You know, we just kind of do our thing,
Yeah.
right? And so, are you still doing tabletop games?
I am, sort of.
You kind of forgot where you started from, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we just had Game Expo
We did.
this year
We did.
and had a lot of fun. It
It
was a ton of fun, and I'd never change it for the world. But this is going to be that one that just happened is the last Game Expo that there's ever going to be.
Yeah, we really need to get onto the Game Expo page and make an official announcement, but we would really like to get back to tabletop games.
Yeah, that kind of like pulled me away of what I truly wanted to do in the first place, and I wanted to make games for people to play, and
Because you have an updated version of app.
I do have an updated version of app.
Well, actually, you don't anymore, I guess.
It's in one of my hard drives if I look for
He
it.
lost all the files. We'll start over. It'll be fine.
We might make it even better.
That's right.
So
You
yeah,
have
no,
other plans for other games as well.
yeah, I got a ton of other games down
You
the.
want to do a deck
on the line.
builder?
Yeah, deck builder. I have to rethink that one because I don't know if that is going to be feasible, or maybe it will. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it close right now because it hasn't really come up as much, and maybe a resurgence of it would be a good thing.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this hasn't haven't heard much about this kind of topic, so.
Because I think sometimes in the tabletop gaming industry, the same topics kind of come up over and over and over again.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like done with like zombies.
Zombies, we're over the zombies. Yeah, I'm over the zombies.
Yeah.
So no more Game Expo. Still
Yeah,
planning
no
on
more
doing
Game
Geek
Expo.
Out
I
SA?
know people are going to be really sad about that, but this town just can't really support a gaming convention, a small gaming convention like that, because it's so fractured.
It's too hard. Yeah.
I mean, there's PAX. PAX
Yeah, you can
South
go there.
is you can go there and play tabletop games, and they'll have tons and tons of stuff to do. So, and any other gaming convention that's coming up right now, I'm going to fully support.
So, and Geek Out SA, are you planning to continue that, or
Yeah.
something that you want to
I
do?
really enjoy Geek Out SA. There's a lot more things that we have coming down the pipe. There's a few other people that we're going to be adding to our crew, doing other things. So we're going to bring Level Up back,
Oh, nice.
and that's going to be really cool.
That was our video game.
That was our
segment.
video game segment.
Yeah.
And we're going to have somebody doing that, and that'll be every Tuesday.
Well, and we
Or every other Tuesday.
actually have already started to kind of add in Alicia of Geek Fun SA.
Mhm.
So we're actually going to go live via satellite to her right now, and she's going to tell you all the fun things you can do over the weekend for the Geekend, right?
Hi guys! Happy Friday! Alicia here with your Geekend report. There is so much going on in San Antonio this weekend. I can't even tell all of it to you. But first off is the Toy Fest going on at the Wonderland of the Americas Mall. It's a toy and collectible event, and they are going to have vendors and art and, of course, toys and collectibles. You're going to be able to play bingo, even watch cartoons, and of course, it's always free and family friendly. Also, if you're up for a little road trip, the Science Mill in Johnson City, which is about an hour away, is having a drones and droid event. And Central Texas Robots is going to be there with a life-size R2-D2. There's going to be drones and demonstrations, Star Wars activities, and photo ops, and even a 3D movie. Dragon's Lair at Alamo Ranch, Saturday at noon, is having a ladies in gaming event. You can come over and play D&D or any other board game that you like. They're going to have trivia. There's going to be cosplayers and even some giveaways. There's so much more going on. There's the Rocky Horror Picture Show at the Aztec. There's a Princess Pajama Party. There's movies, and San Antonio Museum of Art just opened their new exhibit, Men of Steel, Women of Wonder. So you're going to want to check that out. And to get more details on any of the events that I mentioned or see what else is out there, check out my Facebook page, Geek Fun SA. You can scroll through the feed or click on that events tab and see what else is happening during the week. Anyways, as always, I hope you guys have a fabulous geekend. Bye.
Wow, thanks, Alicia. That was a lot of information, and that's actually a lot of stuff that Vincent and I are going to be doing, right, Vincent?
Yes, we're actually going to the drones and droids thing in Johnson City. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So
We are, and I'm really excited.
we're actually going to
go.
be out there with Alicia. So Alicia's going to be out there too.
Great. I'm actually excited too to go to the SAMA exhibit. I can't with him right now. I can't. If you're a teacher, they're doing an event at San Antonio Museum of Art on the 25th that you can sign up for and get college hours. Thank you. He's done. You can get professional development hours. I can't even think with him doing that. Like, I can't even talk to you people anymore. I'm done. So if you're a teacher, you can go out to San Antonio Museum of Art on the 25th. I wanted to go, but I already have something that I have to do with my school. And you can actually learn about using comics in the classroom, which is a really great thing. That's something that I'm really interested in.
Yeah, that's really cool. And welcome back to Geek Out. Say it's Friday and we're having fun.
You're still muted and turned off. There's no camera on you anymore. We're done interviewing you. We're not interviewing Vince.
No, I'm really enjoying this. We've done it for 6 years. Can't wait to do it again. Do it for 6 more years.
Oh my God, did he just say we're going to do this for 6 more years? Why? Why? Why is this a thing? No, I'm having a lot of fun. I appreciate you bringing me on and doing this. I'm glad that people got to know a little bit more about you. You just have like a few seconds left. Is there anything you want to plug or say or do before we go?
Plug? No, I don't. Have fun and geek out.
That's all you want to say?
Was I supposed to say something?
Yeah, play my RPGs, buy them.
Oh, yeah, play my RPGs. Go to pinchygames.com. Or you can go to Amazon and purchase my app. You can go to Heroes and Fantasies and you can buy it there, or at Dragon's Lair.
And I think they have
purchase
the
there
RPG
as well.
All right. Well, this has been extremely interesting. I have loved the chair. I'm sure I'm not going to get to sit in it again for a while, so I'm just going to relish in it for just a moment. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching us. That's Geek Out SA for today. I'm Colleen.
I'm Vince.
That's Stuart
That's
over there.
Stuart over there.
Got him. Geek Out SA.
Geek Out SA. I don't do that so much.